Hi everyone, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Nora. Nora says, I'm just wondering, after listening to your podcast, amazing as always, with Coot Blackson, about the benefit of trying to reveal the unconscious or conscious as you spoke about with him. So he was speaking about being aware of our beliefs as the key to surrender and freedom. Nora says, but does figuring out those hidden beliefs take time, effort, and work, like years of therapy? Or is it enough to just know they're there? Is just being aware of the feelings of contraction that we are believing in those false beliefs about life and ourselves enough for the magic to take place? I'm asking, is it enough to surrender without having to put in so much time and energy into figuring out each false belief? Coot seems to be saying that we need to take the deep dive to examine it for freedom to happen, or perhaps he did not say that. So I love this question and ultimately what it's pointing to, Nora. And I don't know how Coot sees it exactly, but I'll just share how it looks to me, is that for sure it doesn't take years of therapy or effort, or it could. You could spend that time if you want to, but you don't have to. We don't have to dig for something kind of from this place of, oh, this is hidden and it's buried and I need to uncover it and I don't know it, but it's there somewhere. Like there's an answer and I don't know the answer. All of that, it just sets up this tension and it's hard and it feels like we're on some wild goose chase for something we absolutely need that we don't have. And none of that feels good. And I don't think any of that is true at all. I think it's what you said and what you're sort of asking about here, your hunch that you're kind of testing with me. And I think you're right on that. Anytime we feel tension, anytime we feel that we feel limited, we feel insecure, we are feeling pulled toward a habit or anxiety or something like that, anytime any of that discomfort is arising, it is pointing to a thought or a belief being believed. Literally every single time that's happening in our experience, we contract, we feel tension, we're worried, we're anxious, we're in a habit. That is showing us that there's a thought being believed or there's a belief in there. So I don't know about you, but I have plenty of that in my life. Like I don't need to go dig for, but what's under this and what's behind it? It's enough. It's enough to simply be in life and notice when this stuff arises. Notice the tension. Notice what's arising. And know, okay, this is pointing to something for me. This is showing me that in this moment I'm believing something or I'm identified with some tiny little corner of life, some little thought, some little belief that is not the whole of life. It is not the truth of things. It is my very biased, old, machine spit out kind of version of reality. That's what our discomfort in any way, shape, or form is pointing us toward. So if we can know that, I think that just pulls us through. Now, does that show you exactly what the belief says? Sometimes you're just going to see that. So sometimes you feel, let's say you walk into a party and you suddenly feel like just this heaviness and this insecurity and you want to hide and all of that's happening. If you're just kind of in that feeling, which you will be, you're just going to be kind of in that feeling in the moment, you might see the belief. It might occur to you, oh, look, I think I'm not good enough to be here, or, I don't have anything to say to these people, or whatever. Sometimes that stuff just shows up. Awesome. I think that happens a lot. But again, it's hard when we're up in our heads like, oh no, why do I feel this way? And I shouldn't feel this way. And let me pretend I'm confident. When we're doing all that, we're missing a lot. Like that's where you're likely to miss what naturally is wanting to come up and be seen. So when you get hit with a feeling like that, you want to feel it. You want to hang out in it. You want to be curious about it. Like, bring it on. Okay, show me. Where do I feel this physically? What other thoughts and what memories are showing up? When we sort of are with it in that way, we're very likely to kind of see the belief that's behind it, or at least have the general vicinity, at least like have the general direction of the belief that's behind it. And that's awesome. Then we get to see that as a belief. Now, if you don't, if you just have this horrible feeling and you have no idea the belief or the thought that's there with it, that's fine too. That's okay. Like, still feel the feeling, be in the energy of it, feel the sensation, know that there's a thought or a belief behind this. There's an identification with something that is not whole, and that's why you feel contracted. We have to feel contracted when that happens to wake us up to it. So even if you don't know the content of the belief or the content of the thought, the story it's telling, that's okay. That's fine. It's enough to just be in that contraction and know that it's showing you that your mind is just attached to something that is not the truth of things. Then you just are in that. That's okay. So to answer your question, yes, it's more of that. And no, you do not have to go to years and years of therapy and go through all this effort and try to dig and uncover and all of that. It's not it's not like we're on this expedition to discover and uncover and find, so much as we're all everything. It's all one. It's just all this one energy. And if there's a place to kind of put a way to sort of frame it, it's like, hey, let me just welcome what's arising and see what it wants to show me. And you feel that difference? It's a massive difference. It's me separate from life. I have issues buried in here and I need to dig and find them. Feels bad, feels horrible. Versus there's a problem and I'm a separate me who needs to find it. Versus all is well. Sometimes I feel discomfort. Sometimes there's contraction. It's all okay. Life is showing me this. Life is bringing this to me so that I can feel it, so that I can see it. It is all being uncovered. It's not my job. I'm not separate from this. I'm not separate me over here having a feeling happening to me that I now need to do something with. It's all me. It's all okay. It's all being revealed. Let me see if I can just be curious about what's showing up. Let it keep revealing itself. Let me just sit in my curiosity and see what it wants me to know and see what it's showing me. Totally different way of being with basically the same thing. So I hope that's helpful. Nora, thanks for the question. You know, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything. We're lived either way. But for an easier time of things, it could be really helpful to just feel what's showing up and be curious about it and just know that it's here for us, whatever it is. Life is always doing the heavy lifting and the hard work. We're just here to do our best, maybe to not push against it and push it away, to just be open and welcoming of it. And I think we see so much that way. So thank you for sending this question. If you all have questions about anything at all, please send them to askamy@thelittleschoolbigchange.com and I will be happy to answer them. Have a great week, everyone.